And what about existing L2s? You talked about these new L2s that want to launch in Ethereum, and where the cost might be prohibitive. Can existing L2s, like say Arbitrum or some of the ZK VMs, could they leverage this as well and transition to using Celestia data availability?
They absolutely could, and I think that's a decision that's up to them and their community, right? And there are security trade-offs, right? Like when you post all your data to to Ethereum, right? You have the full sort of like DA guarantees of Ethereum itself, right? And that's really, I would say, the top tier security that you could get for an Ethereum rollup. Like if that's where you want to be, that's the best you can do. However, it's really expensive. So it's a kind of a trade-off for them. It's like, okay, well, do you want to, if they migrate to Celestia, they can save a huge amount on their fees and still achieve a pretty good degree of security. Now, it won't be as high as Ethereum, but I think it's like, for the most part, like, really, really strong and probably sufficient for a lot of these use cases. So it really comes down to their decision about like, what is the trade-off of cost and security that makes the most sense for them. The one thing that I'll say is that in a blob stream like Celestia off-chain DA type of security model, the Celestia validators could always lie to you, right, and withhold data, and in so doing, they could steal funds in the bridge, for example. So you have to consider the risk that way of like, okay, well, how many bridge funds are at risk that the Celestia validators could feasibly, well, the Celestia validators in combination with the rollup operator could feasibly steal if they wanted to. And is that amount of value going to be more or less than the amount of value at stake in the Celestia protocol? Because if it's more, then it could be rational. It could make rational sense for the validators to do such an attack. But if it's less, then it's like, well, why would they do that? Because they would lose more money than they would gain.